So with this, the cherry blossoms, I actually want to keep these up a little bit higher from the Elstros. And so this is actually a really good length. And you'll notice that these cherry blossoms have a little bit of green on the tip where their leaves are just coming. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's really stunning, actually. So we're going to try to highlight that as much as possible by keeping them elevated up above the rest of the arrangement. You know, I would love to keep it exactly at this length, but when you're making a new arrangement in a vase, you do need to trim the stems. So we're going to trim this one down a little bit. It'll still have lots of lovely height. And I'm going to trim it down kind of the minimum, about a ½ inch there. And again, it's at an angle. And this is woody, so it's going to be a harder trim. Oh my God. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrific. Oh my God, that poor, it's like, look at, can you see it? I don't know if we can zoom in. It's like all fuzzy and yucky.
Why don't you try the heftier clippers?
Okay,
If anybody has garden clippers at home, this is a good moment to use them.
There we go. Right. Going for the big guns. There we are. Garden clippers. What are these called? Pass-through clippers? Something like that? Where the blades cross over each other? Something. Anyways, this is what we're going to use for the cherry blossoms, because that, you see how gunky, like it's all frayed, and that's just going to have bacterial growth all over it. It's not going to be good for the arrangement. Yeah. And this actually brings up a point. Some people with woody stems like this recommend bashing them with a hammer in order to help improve the absorption of the flower food and the water. And that's been shown to not be a good idea, actually. No, anytime you're bashing something with a hammer, unless it's a rock, I don't know what you would want to bash with a hammer, honestly. Yeah, no bueno. Don't do that. Yeah, it actually just ends up hurting the plant and speeding up decay. And I've got one here that has no blossoms on it, but I love these. They're so gorgeous. That texture, you know, I just think these are lovely, lovely stems. So I'm going to use this. And again, think of that spring in a cup arrangement I was telling you about earlier. There's like 50 to 60 stems crammed into one cup. And that's what we need to do to keep it nice and steady and strong. We actually need to put a lot of stems in there. So use the ones that even don't have any blossoms in them, because it also resembles what we see outside in the natural world. And for me, at least, part of flower arranging is kind of admiring what we see outside and bringing a bit of that inside into our homes so that we can admire it at slightly closer quarters without the rain dribbling down our necks and the wind howling around us. No snowfall right now. We do live in
maybe over the weekend.
Right, maybe on Sunday. I'm moving furniture on Saturday, so it can't be Saturday. Look at that one. Isn't that stunning?
Beautiful.
So I realize I'm holding in front of me, which means that you're actually seeing me when I'm saying, isn't that stunning? So I'll move a little bit. There you go. Okay, time for another joke, I think. I hear everybody groaning. I didn't think that was possible to actually hear people groaning through a video that's been pre-recorded. But somehow the magic of technology has allowed that to happen. So, why do seagulls fly over the sea?
Why is that?
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Abigail.
Anytime.
Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. I love that one.
You guys are not groaning anymore. I know you're laughing.
Right? That was really good. That was a really, really good one. Thank you, Patty, by the way. You guys can all thank Patty for my joke feed. You know, the bagel joke, I just want to smear it around, you know? I just really want to, like, I want to hear lots and lots and lots of it.
But
you're welcome. There's a whole lot more of that where that came from.
That's filling out really nicely.
Yeah, isn't this amazing? So all these tiny little stems, they don't look like much just on their own, but if you put a good handful of them together, especially with that armature. I keep forgetting that word. Especially with the armature that we put in the beginning, it really gives it incredible volume. And we're so fortunate to have access to these cherry blossoms right now. So you can have your own little cherry blossom viewing festival in your home. We have these as kits again for sale with the cup, all the stems and flower food. And these guys, I got mine at, I think at the hardware store down the street.
You can probably order them online as well in case the stores are not available.
There you go. Yeah, very handy for outside pruning as well as inside flower arranging, which we're going to be doing a lot of, I hope, over the next, I don't know, forever actually. I love flower arranging. Just because a lot of us are socially distancing right now doesn't mean that flower arranging needs to stop when social distancing opens up again.
This might be a good project to do with kids too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Teaching them about good cutting practices and
Yep.
handling flowers and nature.
Exactly. Yep, we can go into color theory and balance and rhythm in a sculptural arrangement as well. That's actually something to mention. I am choosing to go with flowers in this arrangement that are all kind of in the same color family. So we have the reds and the pinks. These pussy willows that we'll bring in later have a little blush of pink in them. And that's one way to go with an arrangement, is to use colors that are all within a couple of values of each other. So orange, red, yellow, blue, green, purple, pink, red, blush, pink, red, yellow actually would also work, or pink, red, orange. I actually made a wedding arrangement, a wedding bouquet just a few days ago that had beautiful pink cherry blossoms in it, and then orange snapdragons, and that contrast of, it's not even, the marriage of the pink, marriage for a wedding bouquet, there you go.
You go.
Ooh, savvy. But that pink and orange together is lovely.
It was stunning.
Yeah, and it feels complementary. And then the other direction to go is to have contrasting colors, or like purple and orange, or purple and yellow, blue and orange, red and green. Those two colors together, or two colors like that on opposite sides of the color wheel, create a very dramatic arrangement. You have a lot of kind of excitement. It makes it a little bit edgier. But these are all in the same color family. And actually, because they're in the same color family, that means that we can go a little bit crazier with the arrangement itself. So this one, and I spin it like that so I can see how it's balanced the whole way around. This is an arrangement that you'll want to see from every direction, especially as you're drinking from it. And it's looking really well balanced to me. I'm really liking this. And again, the advantage of having all these stems is that I can shake it and move it, and it's not going anywhere. No foam in here. We don't use foam at the flower basket. It's all, the armature is all created by the stems themselves. All right, almost there. I think it might be time for another joke.
Another joke? Go for it, girl.
Yay! I actually have to look at this one because it's kind of complicated. So a lot of us are growing hemp now, and it's a great product to grow. It's a great plant to work with, gets really robust, and grows very well up in the high mowing or wherever it is that you happen to grow your hemp. And a lot of us happen to have both cattle or cows and hemp together, or near the same place. And every once in a while, a cow will wander up into the hemp field. Why does that happen?
I don't know.
It's because the pot is calling the cattle back.
Yay!
That was a good one. So, moving on. Our next stem is going to be these lovely pussy willows. I'm going to move these vases out of the way. Sachet back. Sachet. Pussy willow, locally grown here in beautiful Hardwick, Vermont. I'm going to put this up next to the vase that I'm using, my cup. And actually these bottom pussy willows are going to end up hitting the lip of the cup, or being just below the lip of the cup, so I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to take those off. I thought I could just pull them off. There we go. And I'm gonna take this one off too. And then I'm gonna keep these for my potpourri bag. So I'm just gonna set those to the side and later on put those in my basket that I use for making potpourri. What basket do you use for making potpourri? I hear you asking. Oh no, a pussy willow fell in. Oh my gosh. Trusty dusty chopsticks, come to the rescue.
Who knew?
Right, there we go. Let me get that pussy willow out. Yay, I got it.
Success.
Success. Okay, I'll be right back. So this is what I use for making potpourri. Just stick them in there. They air dry. Oof, sorry, curly willow. Okay, so the pussy willows are very subtle, as you'll notice. There's something that you'll notice, that you'll appreciate as you observe the arrangement with more time and space. They're not something that shout out at you like the Elstros or the cherry blossoms. And that's great. I really enjoy having things in arrangements that are kind of like hidden secrets, for little treats that you appreciate when you sit with the arrangement for a while. Flower arranging is art, and I really believe that it is something that can be enjoyed over many, many days and should be sat with and kind of thought about, including when we're making it. Which I guess implies that art should be sat with and thought about. And I think, you know, is that a definition of art? What is art?
That's the big question.
101, right? Huge question. But for me, art is something that has subtlety and that brings more with it as you work with it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, curly willow tips. These are locally grown outside of Stowe. And I'm gonna bring this down. This is something that, you know, it kind of depends on how much room you have in your living room or wherever it is, or your dining room table, wherever you're gonna display this. We could put it in like this. For me, that feels a little bit unbalanced because it's so tall and such a big leap from the edge of the cherry to the edge of the curly willow. So I'm gonna drop it down a little bit to about here. So it's only about, you know, like this is the height of the cherry. It's only about a third of the way up again above the cherry. And some people think about design in terms of ratios. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Oh, hello, curly willow. Hi. Is that you? Is that you say? Oh. There we go. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a little embarrassed. All right, more curly willow. And we're just going to bring this down to about that height. And now you're going to have some extra little curly willow pieces to do with as you wish. They dry very well, and you can make a mobile out of them, I suppose. Look at that, isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm. And there are buds on these.
Yes, the leaf buds just coming out.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, so those leaves probably won't grow into much more than the buds. You know, they do open up when we get these in. They don't have the leaf buds on them, and then they do open up a little bit in our shop, but they probably won't get much larger than that. So this is actually complete, in my opinion. I do have a rose here because I thought I wanted to include a rose with the arrangement, but honestly, when I'm putting it near there, to me it doesn't add any value. And I think with an arrangement, it's really about every piece, every stem having a reason for being there. And in this situation, the rose just doesn't fit. So that's not included in the kits. You can always buy roses from us. Woo, we always have a couple dozen on hand. But just for the sake of this arrangement, I think that this is actually beautiful, just like this.
It's really, really stunning.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of beautiful movement. Those Alstomeria lilies in there just really give it a nice contrast. Yeah, that's it. Look at that.